Okay, thanks, Leah.
Thanks, Gemma. Good morning, everybody. My name is Leah Mustoe-Shinton. I'm the Council of the Isles of Scilly Monitoring Officer. Today is the first meeting of the Council of the Isles of Scilly's Scrutiny Committee, and that is the first meeting in the new administration. Therefore, the first item on the agenda is election of chairman. Once the chairman is elected, I will duly hand over to chairman. So could I please ask for nominations for chairman of the Scrutiny Committee?
It's Daniel Marcus. Can I please nominate Avril Mumford for chair?
Thanks, Councillor Marcus. So that's a nomination for Councillor Avril Mumford for chair. Can I take that as you proposing, Councillor Marcus?
Yes, it is. Yes, you can.
And is there a seconder for that nomination?
Councillor Dean here. Yes, I will second that.
Thank you. And are there any further nominations? No. So could we go to the vote on that? All of those in favour? All of those against? And any abstentions?
If I could just say, there is nothing personal in my abstention at all. It's just that the monitoring officer did suggest that the chair be not a lead member. Obviously, now that Councillor Mumford is in the chair, I shall support her to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you. So Councillor Avril Mumford has been voted as chair of the Scrutiny Committee. So I will now hand over to Councillor Mumford. Thank you, Councillor Mumford.
Thank you, Leah. Before we have the Vice Chair, I'd like to welcome the new members to this committee and Councillor Grottick as a new member of Scrutiny. Right, could we have a proposer for Vice Chair, please? Or, yes, a nomination. Sorry, nomination.
I will propose Councillor Blackwell.
A seconder?
I'll second that nomination.
Thank you. Any more nominations? All right, could we have a vote on that, please? That's unanimous. Thank you. Lynn, would you like to swap places with Stuart? Well, actually, I'll move up one and then you can sit there. Right, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is declarations of interest. Anybody got any interest to declare for this meeting? No. Minutes of the previous meeting. Anybody got anything to say about this? Could I have a proposer, please? Councillor Dean and a seconder. Councillor Marcus, all those in favour? Thank you.
If I could abstain, Chair, as I wasn't there.
That's okay. Urgent items. We have one. This has been brought because it got a bit held up somewhere along the line, and we're not quite sure where. But anyway, we've got it today, so I'd like to ask Jo Evans to present this paper. Thank you, Jo.
Thank you. So this service is partly funded by the Education and Skills Funding Agency, and as such we're inspected by Ofsted. We were pleased to receive a grading of good across the board at our last inspection, but an area identified for development was the governance of the service. In response, I've reinstated the Learning and Workforce Development Advisory Group, which now convenes 3 times a year. Additionally, I'll be providing an annual summary report to this committee to ensure continued oversight and improvement. Some of the appendices and data within the report relate to the 23-24 academic year, as this is the most recent full year of data. Some of the information on the Shared Prosperity Fund and the internal learning and development work covers more recent activity. I've brought Helena along with me, who's our Learning Development and Skills Manager, and we'd both be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Councillor Nixon.
So, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say that this report shows some truly excellent work. Definitely of benefit to the residents of Scilly and also to the staff. I wanted to check, with the self-assessment held in here, the rating is good. What are the options? Is it good, brilliant, average, or?
Yeah, so it's, I can't remember what the, outstanding, good, requires improvement, and then inadequate.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's the same as sort of the school inspections.
I assumed it was, but thought just for clarity.
Yeah.
Check that. Thank you.
Councillor Marcus.
Yeah, it's really, really pleasing to see the service doing well. Like Councillor Nixon said, it's a real benefit to the islands. I've used the service, I've been on courses, so yeah, it's really good. It's really good to see in paragraph 38 the new apprenticeships you've got going on there. Do you want to, can you explain how you're going to, I mean, is that going to, are we going to do more of that? Because that sounds like a really good thing to upskill the workforce. Is that something that's going to continue in the future?
Yeah, definitely. So we sort of rebooted our apprenticeship offer this time last year, sort of really started to kind of focus on it. The initial focus has been on those internal staff upskilling apprenticeships. And the plan is, we have got the levy funding there, so the plan is to continue raising the profile of apprenticeships to managers within the council, and yeah, offering, you know, where they're suitable, whether that's somebody who's already in post or whether it's appropriate to put it out as a recruitment opportunity. So,
are we going to do some outreach work with that as well, and maybe offer it to businesses? Is that what is the state of play with apprenticeships at the moment? Because I know it's can be quite complicated. And
yeah, so that's kind of phase 2. So
yeah.
The initial phase has kind of just been getting our head around it and how best we can use the levy funding. And then the next stage now is to do some of that networking with local businesses and kind of highlighting the support available and the opportunities, perhaps kind of looking at some of the barriers that might be there as well. So
okay.
That's kind of phase 2, and working with children's services and school as well to kind of do it as a collaborative project.
Brilliant. I also noticed that off-island attendance was lower than last year. It's currently standing about 10% of enrolments. Can you explain how you're going to, I mean, ideally we'd like more people out. What's the barriers with that? How are you going to overcome that?
So we do have funding available for off-island voting. So we do highlight that in all of our course material. We have marketing campaigns that we send out to highlight that as well. We do offer courses on the off-islands. It's just tricky because we do have a minimum number. So whilst we might offer the course, those courses might then end up being cancelled because we don't reach the minimum number. But then the voting support is always there to help them if they wanted to attend on St Mary's. But in terms of our, you know, kind of future course planning, that's always very much a priority. You know, what can we offer in the autumn term that's on the off-islands? I think we've got at least 2 coming up in December, hopefully, on Briar and on St Agnes. So yeah, it is very much at the forefront.
Brilliant, thank you.
Councillor Grottick.
Thank you, Chair. Several years ago, there were some changes to the benefits system, especially around universal credit, and some of the forms that had to be filled in were quite challenging. And Len Silly was very good at actually running a course for people and actually sitting next to them and assisting them. And it seems to me at the moment there's an awful lot of conversation in central government about changes to the benefit system. And I'd just like to be assured that you could offer the help and support, and that you're monitoring possibly a proactive help if the benefit system, as indeed it looks, is becoming a little more complex to actually achieve some of these benefits. I think it was much, you know, it was a really good help last time, and I would hope that we could offer similar help this time.
Yeah, so we do work with Job Centre Plus, and they do sort of communicate with us around any changes that there might be and offer training to staff so that they're able to support sort of staff throughout, you know, adult social care and other stakeholders so that they're able to support the people that they work with. But I have also spoken to adult social care about Learn Silly, sort of offering one-to-one support for anybody who might need it. So we do have tutors who could step in if there was someone who needed some one-to-one support with filling out forms, and particularly as they seem to be going online more and more now. So that is something that we can offer if and when it's needed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nicola?
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to reflect really on the apprenticeships and the role the council's playing there, because I think for years we've talked about the theory of apprenticeships as opposed to the practice. And I just want to give my thanks really to Helena and the team really in pushing that forward, leading by example as a council. And proving it can work, I suppose. So we've got a number of apprenticeships within the council at the moment, which really reflects on our own philosophy. And I think that's a really great strength of the council, but also allows us to learn from that experience and share that with the private sector, with others, so that they can then see that there is a way through it. Because I think for many years, people have said it's too difficult, it's put it on the too difficult pile. So I just want to say, I think in this last 18-month period, there's been a lot of focus on this, and we have cracked it, I hope, and we've got some very successful candidates internally. So I think if we can learn from that and share that experience, I think that will provide a wider opportunity for those on the island. So I just wanted to reflect on that as a way the council's really led and shown, you know, we've put our money where our mouth is and put it into practice rather than just talking about the theory. So I just wanted to put that forward as a thank you to the team, really.
Thank you, Nicola. Councillor Blackwell.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Lovely report. Really good to read what's happening in the community and how successful it is. Just a quick question on paragraph 35, when you're referring to the blended learning line manager essentials. What's the uptake for that? Do you have a good uptake in the council for it?
It has been fairly low so far, but we have got a campaign that we're just about to start to kind of get that, raise that profile a little bit of the line manager essentials. I think we only launched it last November, so it's still kind of early days. And obviously with the blended approach, some of it does involve people coming over from the mainland as well, so it's not necessarily all online, so that does involve kind of logistics and a bit of planning to make sure that we've actually got the trainers here on the ground to deliver it. But yeah, so the plan is to kind of get that off the ground in the next few months.
Great, thank you, good to hear.
Thank you. Any more questions? Sorry.
Just to echo Councillor Blackwell's comments there and say thank you. Really interesting to read the report and get into the data on this, and say thank you as well, because this is really valuable work for our community. Just to bring it back to off-island participation again, it sounds like you've obviously got an idea of what the barriers are and there's things in place for that. But you know, looking at the summary of the last few years, there's quite a big drop from 19% in 21-22 through to 10% last year. Is there any information coming from learners as to why that drop-off is, or is there a particular cause for that, do you think?
I think partly, as with any data, when you're in such a small place, sort of, so for example, in 1 year, if we delivered a certain course on one of the off-islands, then that would spike the numbers, and then so it sort of, you know, looks much worse the next year. Yeah. So they're quite small things that can make quite a big difference to the percentages.
Yeah, you're going to see big dips and things like that.
I can't think of any.
There might have been a specific course. I don't know. Perhaps like 3 first aid courses that were delivered on Tesco, for example, but that's still their staff, which then
sways the numbers for that year.
So yeah, that does then obviously knock on the data for the following year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Sims.
I think that wasn't the point I was going to mention, but it's a good point. It's worth mentioning, particularly for new councillors, that we get statistics and they just look crazy because we have cohorts of maybe 5 people, whereas Birmingham have had 23,000, and you just don't get meaningful averages or anything out of that. So if something goes down by 50%, it doesn't actually mean that something tragic happens. It means one less person's attending, you know. What I wanted to say was, I'm looking at specific course requests, and they're great. I mean, there's such a diversity in them. Do you sort of put it out there that, apart from obviously in this paper, that this is what people would like to learn? Because I'm sure this. I mean, I'm an expert at sourdough. No, I'm not. But I'm sure if people knew about it, they could offer these things. Like I could certainly do audio editing and something like that. But there's lots of skills over here, and if people know about it, and they can come in and get the course, that'd be great. And I'm really impressed with some of these, particularly planning a Solonian funeral.
Yeah, that was quite random.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Nixon.
Thank you. I just wanted to check on the offer to staff themselves within the council. Obviously, we've done the survey out to the wider learning base of what they'd like to learn, and I know that obviously the staff have discussions with their line managers through their PDPs. Is there anything in place where staff can generally put requests out for courses which may not directly tie straight into their jobs? I'm thinking more if we've got members of staff who perhaps struggle with some of the IT, perhaps, where there's a wider offer in there and how you approach that.
Yeah, so we do work very closely with our line managers. We have done for many, many years, and I'd like to think that they know how to contact us and that we're quite approachable and helpful. And there is quite a lot of crossover obviously within one department. So there's a lot of crossover between the service that Learn Silly offers and the internal learning and development service as well. So if there was something, for example, we were going to offer Excel to the local community, that would also be opened out internally as well, and potentially vice versa as well. But yeah, so mainly the requests come through their PDP, but there is also, they can come to us and we can offer that information, advice and guidance as well.
Thank you.
Councillor Dean.
Yeah, just a practical question really about space, whether you have adequate space to run these courses. And I'm aware that there's a likelihood that we're going to redevelop Carnguavel, and I just wanted to make sure that you were included in that conversation and that there was space available for you to continue doing your wonderful work.
Yeah, yes, we have been included in that conversation, and we won't lose. Obviously, it's going to have an effect on services whilst the work's being done, so that's going to be quite tricky, especially with planning the autumn curriculum and where we'll be able to deliver courses during that time. But hopefully, most of our courses we deliver in Klondike, which is a room down at Carnguavel. That room will still exist, but just be in a slightly different position, so we will still have access to that. And then there'll be another room, a sort of slightly larger room, which will replace the smaller meeting room that we haven't got down there at the moment. So it is going to be tricky, I think, for everybody, for all services. It's difficult for us to deliver in other, so we've delivered a first aid course in here last week, and it wasn't very, don't know how to say it. Yeah, just being on site where we are, we can keep an eye on things and we can sort of make sure that everything's as it needs to be. So yeah, the short answer is we have been involved in the conversations, and the long answer is I think we're always going to struggle for decent space to deliver.
Okay, have you got a plan for when the works are happening?
No, we're just waiting for the plan to come through as to sort of the phasing and what the phasing will look like and when each phase will take place. So once we've got that information, we can then plan as to what we do.
All right, lovely, thank you.
Councillor Sims.
Well, I'd just like to propose both recommendations and thank you for a very good report.
Okay. Any more comments? Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Blackwell, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. Good report, and good to see the apprenticeships getting off the ground. We've
Yeah.
been talking about it for long enough,
Yeah.
for about 12 years, I think. So thank you very much indeed. Just, there's only one more item, and that is the work plan. Now, I think the best idea for us is probably to have a workshop as soon as we can. Just to let you know that there are some things that are that come up. They're not statutory, but they're a standing thing, which is Children's Services at the moment will come to every meeting, and I think after the CQC report, Adult Social Care, we'll have a meeting on that and the results of that. Fire and Rescue comes every year, annual performance outturn, and Learn Silly comes every year, and Health Watch annual report. So if we can arrange a workshop ASAP, I don't know if we can do one before I actually go away, because I think it's quite a busy week. Councillor Marcus is shaking his head. I'll email you all with some dates and see what we can do about that. And then you can think what other things that you would like to scrutinise. Councillor Blackwell.
Thank you. Just one thing that I would like to be minuted and included on the work programme going forward is the post-16 issues, which are continuing. Thank you.
Yes, that sort of comes in with the children as well. I'll put post-16 next to it.
Thank you.
We will probably have a special one on that when the time is right. Any more questions? Leah, anything to say?
Chair, I just wonder, so obviously in the report it highlights that this is a very work in progress work plan, being this the first meeting of the Scrutiny Committee and you as a committee having to decide what items you want to prioritise for scrutiny. I just wonder if we want to amend the wording of the recommendation slightly to include that workshop, to say that members approve the work programme subject to any amendments proposed at this meeting and a future workshop to be held and a future workshop of all committee members or something along those lines, just to include that in the recommendation.
Yes, that's a good idea. Could I have a proposer for that extra?
I'll propose that.
Right, and seconder, please.
I'll second.
Right, Councillor White, all those in favour? And now can we have a proposer for the recommendations, please? Do you want me to read them out, or have you all read them? All read them, including the last one. Proposer, please. Councillor Blackwell, and a seconder. Councillor Sims, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you, Leah. Thank you.
Thanks, members.
And, oh, sorry, Councillor Grottick.
No, I was just waiting to second somebody beat me to it.
Oh, sorry.
Beat me to it, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I will close the meeting. Thank you.